think this week as we read all of our stories about a strategy that good readers do. We've been practicing this. How good readers can ask and answer questions as they're reading a story. It says you can pause and ask questions as you listen to a selection or a story. This will help you understand the selection. When I'm going to read this story, The Elephant's Child, I'm wondering how the elephant got its trunk. I'm noticing that in this picture here, this elephant doesn't have a very long trunk. So as I read, I'm going to ask the question, I wonder how the elephant got its trunk. I want to read to answer that question. So as I read this story, I'm going to try and answer that question. Can you guys help me try and figure out how the elephant got its trunk? Let's listen. Today you actually get to listen to the story instead of having me read the story.
Yes. Will they flip pages?
There's Joe's. We're going to do some stopping and listening and talking also.
The Elephant's Child, based on a story by Rudyard Kipling. What unusual features do elephants have? How do they use these features?
I'm going to try and figure out how.
Long ago, elephants didn't have the same appearance. They didn't have trunks, only big stumpy noses that were no good at picking things up. But then, an elephant's child came into the world, not with a trunk, but with many questions. He wanted to know about everything. The elephant's child
I'm going to stop right here because good readers don't just ask one question as they're reading or listening to a story. They might think about more than one question. So I have the one question that I'm trying to find out. How did the elephant get his trunk? But I just heard in the story that it said that elephant had lots of questions. Now I've got another question myself. I'm wondering what sort of question elephant wanted to know the answer to. Let's listen to see if we can find the answer to our question.
asked his aunt, the ostrich, why her tail feathers grew the way they did. He asked his very tall uncle, the giraffe, what made the spots on his skin. The elephant's curiosity drove his animal family crazy. They were tired of his questions. On a day of celebration, with all his neighbors around, the elephant's child asked a new question. What does the crocodile eat for dinner? Everyone turned to him and yelled, "Hush!" He couldn't get anyone to answer his question. The elephant...
Did anybody think they heard something that could help answer my question? My question was, what sort of questions did the elephant have? Did anybody hear something there that the elephant had questions about? What was one thing, Thielson, that the elephant had questions about?
He asked, what does an alligator eat for dinner?
He wanted to know, what does an alligator eat for dinner? What was another question he asked? Hazel?
He asked his tall uncle, the giraffe, how he got his spots.
Yes, he asked his tall uncle, the giraffe, how he got his spots. He asked somebody else a question in the story. Did anybody hear another one? Stella, what did you hear?
How does his aunt grow her feathers like that?
He kept asking his aunt, the ostrich, how she got feathers like that. So remember, good readers don't just ask one question as they're listening or reading a story. They might think of more than one question as they're going. I've already got the answer to that question. I'm still listening to find out how elephant got his trunk. Let's listen to the next part of the story.
Snake.
The curious little elephant found his friend Cola Bird and told him that his family hushed him up when he asked what the crocodile ate for dinner. But she didn't know the answer to his question. Go to the riverbank and find out, she suggested. The elephant's child was determined to get an answer. The next day, he packed 100 pounds of bananas and 17 melons. He told his family, I am going to the great green river to find out what the crocodile has for dinner.
I just thought of another question that I have here in my story. It said that he packed 100 pounds of bananas and 17 melons. That seems like a lot of food. I'm going to see if I can listen to find out, why did he pack so much food?
I know.
He walked.
He did not really tell me why he packed so much food.
I know.
I might have to infer this or figure it out myself. Who thinks they have an idea? Why did he pack so much food? Carly, what's your idea?
Because he's going to see what the crocodile would eat.
Maybe because he wants to see if the crocodile will eat that type of food. Who has a different prediction or idea? Liam, why do you think he packed so much food?
Going on a very long trip. Like if he's not enough food, he'd starve to death.
Oh, I think you might be right. Maybe it was a really long trip and he needed to pack enough food. I think I got the answer to my question. I'm going to keep listening to see if I can find out how elephant got that long nose. Problem here. I want you to practice asking a question. What could we ask that is different than we have asked before? Turn and talk with your partner. What's a question you might ask about the story? What's a question you might ask?
What? How did you get that much food? How did you get to it? I think probably how did he find the food? Where did he get it? I know, right? That's my question.
2, 1. Thank you. Wow, I heard some really good questions. I heard some people saying, I wonder what is going to happen to the elephant's nose. Or I heard people say, I wonder if the snake is going to help them. Let's see if we can find the answer to some of the questions that you asked.
I know what
The snake slithered over to help the elephant's child. Together they pulled away from the crocodile until the elephant's child's nose